Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media. I'm here today with the CEO of Joburg Water and our MMC responsible for infrastructure in the city of Johannesburg. We are here as a result of concerns that we are addressing around water supply, especially in Ward 66, Ward 65 and Ward 118. Which have been battling with supply of water for the last few days. As you know that we are here at the Alexander Reservoir with an intention to try and explain to communities the challenges that we have, which is a broader problem within Johannesburg in terms of water demand, and we're trying to manage water demand throughout the city of Johannesburg, which therefore you'd find that this reservoir gets affected, and as and when we try and push the levels high, because for us to be able to distribute water, the reservoir should at least comfortably sit at around 50%, which allows us to easily supply water to our residents. So we're trying our level best to get the reservoir to 50% so that we can supply water easily. However, it requires a broader management of water supply in Johannesburg to allow this reservoir also to get to the levels that we want it to get to. So that's where we are generally, and we want to plead with communities around here that we're doing our level best, we're working around the clock to ensure that they've got uninterrupted supply of water, and we do apologize profusely for the challenges that they're faced with, but our teams are working round the clock to ensure that we are able to provide water in this area. Yes, there are plans that Joburg Water is putting in place to respond to this area so that the Alexandria Reservoir does not continue to give us problems and challenges into the future. So there are certain projects that they're going to be implementing to ensure that into the future we are not faced with these problems. But we're doing everything that we can to ensure that the communities are given enough water. We are going to increase in terms of the water tankers. We are currently providing about 6 in this area, or the areas that are supplied by this reservoir. We are going to increase those to 10 so that we can try and elevate the challenges of our communities on the supply of water. We are also saying to the communities, if you can reduce on harvesting of water, because it also affects the reservoir, because once you harvest, it still does not help us to respond to the water demand. So that is basically what is happening, and we thought we should come here and assure our communities that we are doing something in addressing the problems that they are faced with currently. The other areas that we were at last week, they are now getting water because of the interventions that we are doing. We're doing the very same interventions in this area, and we'll ensure that they do get a supply of water. I think I can stop there, and if there's anything that the CEO would like to add at the technical level, we'll do so. Of course, we will also engage the residents. We are planning to have a proper public meeting with the residents of these areas. We are planning it for Friday so that we can give them concrete reports on what we are doing in the area. So the public meeting will happen on Friday in the afternoon. Or you want to ask questions and then we can respond technically, or you want a technical type of an input first?
I think the MD.
Okay.
Or the MD.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, EM. From the technical point of view, part of the work that we'll be doing, which is the work that we have communicated or we've been communicating, that we will be managing all the other systems in the city of Johannesburg very closely. Manage them very closely in such a way that where we need to throttle or to cut back supply, we're going to do that across the city with a view to assist this particular system so that it can be able to come back. The issue that we are dealing with here is that in order for us to be able to reach those levels that the mayor have indicated, that we get satisfied when this particular reservoir is at a 50% level, so that we can be able to supply water to the residents. But we'll prefer to be slightly higher than that, so that we can even be able to supply to those areas that are on high-lying areas. But the challenge is that you find that we're not able to reach that level on daily basis, as the reservoir, we're filling the reservoir throughout the night. So when we haven't reached that reserve level, we don't actually open it. We end up opening the next day after we've reached that level. So what we're going to do to try and make sure that we improve the turnaround of filling this reservoir to that level that we require, we're going to be making sure that we intensify the issue of managing supply or throttling in other areas. It's a way of managing demand across the city, so that we can be able to improve the overall levels in the city of Johannesburg in terms of the reservoir levels, and also assist in improving the reservoir levels for our bulk supplier, which you've seen last week that they've communicated that their reservoir levels were sitting at 32%, which doesn't help us in terms of really getting the necessary volume that we require. So what we need to do, we need to make sure that we're cutting back so that we can be able to get all the levels up. And once we get the levels up, we'll be able to get the necessary volume that we require up here. And this is the work that we'll be doing for the next couple of days, and we believe that as we do that, it will be able to assist us. From the technical point of view, of course, this particular reservoir also, it's in the list of those reservoirs that there will be some work happening, and that work we are aiming to start, or we are appointing contractor towards end of November. It is part of those reservoirs that there will be work happening around refurbishment of the reservoir. And as we get to that point, we'll be updating the residents around how we are going to be making sure that they still get continuity of supply when the reservoir has been put off service for the work that needs to happen. Thank you very much.
MMC.
No, I think